Good to go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mtag More Than Against post-match YouTube live stream review of the third and final one-day international played between India and England at the MCA Stadium in Pune, which India has somehow sneaked past to win by six runs. And to discuss this game and much more, we have our good friends Shivang, Rahul, and Harshit joining us once again. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for joining us over here. And let's start off today. We'll start with the start. India made one change in their playing combination today. They dropped Kuldeep Yadav as expected, but instead of the commonly thought perception we had of that they'll play Chahal, they brought in the additional pacer in Peanut Rajan. So, what were your thoughts in of the team selection overall by India today, Shivang?
Hi. Okay. So I think it was a good decision to get Natarajan in, especially, we saw how crucial he can be towards the end with his Yorkers and the way he handles things. But again, I feel like, as we saw in India's batting as well, spinners were playing a part in the match, in the pitch, had something for spinners. So probably Chahal wouldn't have been a bad choice. But I think it was just a call that Kohli had to take, because Kunal Pandya hasn't been bowling well. So Chahal would have made sense as well, but I think overall it was a good decision to get Natarajan, especially for the last overs where he bowled the Yorkers, and especially since Bumrah isn't there. So overall, a good decision.
Uh, Harshit, your thoughts?
No, absolutely. Given that Natarajan is possibly a big factor why we won the match. Defending 14 runs of the last over against possibly Sam Curran, who was seeing the ball like a football, out there. So yeah, good decision in the end. You can say he went for a few runs in his initial few overs, but then he did what he's known for. He did what he's famous for in the IPL, bowling good death overs. So yeah, I was happy with the team. Only again, I didn't quite understand why Kunal Pandya was picked. I think India were lucky with the fact that Ben Stokes got out before Kunal Pandya came on to bowl. Otherwise, it would have been another massacre for him. He struggled with the bat as well today. So I when I heard the team, when I saw the toss, my only complaint was why are they playing Kunal again, especially when he went for more runs and had a worse run rate than Kuldeep Yadav. So if one gets dropped, you have to drop the other one as well. I would have picked Washington Sundar as my only spinner. So yeah, otherwise it was a pretty good team. So yeah.
Rahul, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I agree. Considering England targeted the spinners last game, the change did make sense, and end of the day, Natarajan delivered. So yeah, it's a change that worked out. But yeah, that's all.
Uh, okay, and England made the one change in bringing Markwood back for Tom Curran, and I think that change also worked out quite well for them. So we'll go back to the start of the game, and the approach that India took in the first 10-15 overs, and quite a very very different approach to what we saw from them in the first couple of games. So where they and this time they were going at more than run a ball at a more than run a ball rate. So what do you think about this new approach that different approach that the Indian opening pair took today, Shivang?
Yeah, I think it was a good approach, something that should be done more often, because the pitch was really good to bat on, and they seized upon the opportunity, and great start from Rohit Sharma and Shikhar Dhawan. So yeah, I think it was a foundation sort of laid perfectly for the rest of the batting to come. That didn't quite happen, but it was a great effort from the opening pair to get us a great start, and with an opening stand worth more than 100 runs, it was the perfect start that India could ask for.
Harshit.
Yeah, I was quite pleased with the opening partnership. I was quite pleased, especially when Shikhar Dhawan was the one person who had the lowest strike rate in the last match. To see him taking the charge and ensuring that India has a good power play and also bringing up the 100 in real quick time. Yeah, a real solid good platform. I just hope that uh, of one of the key takeaways that India has from this ODI series is the fact that they need to bat a bit quicker at in the first few overs, especially the openers. And today was, just the perfect example of how to do it. So I just hope Rohit and Dhawan, if they are the preferred openers for the next series or next tournament as well, they can remember how to do this, and they can do this at regular and consistent levels. So I was quite pleased with it.
Rahul.
Yeah, this is quite pleasing to see. I saw a stat that said this is India's it's most runs India have scored in the power play since the 2011 semi-final against Pakistan, which is a really crazy stat if you think about it. So yeah, it's good. It is quite nice to see them play fast, and the benefit was that even though number 3 and 4 failed to push on, India was still able to get a decent total. It's 329. I mean, India was hoping for 350 plus, but it's not a bad total to fall back on. So if you start slow, then you're not going to. It's chances of getting as high scores is less likely. So I hope India take this approach going forward.
Okay, great points made there, Rahul. And Shikhar Dhawan's innings was a huge positive today. He looked very much in control. He looked aggressive right from the word go. He did not let the England bowlers settle into a rhythm, especially Reece Topley. He was getting clattered for quite a few boundaries. Even Sam Curran in his first spell got clattered for more than a few boundaries through Dhawan's bat. What do you think of Dhawan's innings today, Shivang?
I think he looked confident, and that is something that's very important, especially when you're coming from a T20 series that you didn't really play a big part in. So right from the first ODI where he got the runs and he got ticking, so his confidence has been there. Last match he gave his wicket away, so that was quite unfortunate. But this match again, I mean, from the first ball he looked very confident, and it was almost certain that he was going to score. He was going to score, but should have converted it into 100 probably, but unfortunately got out at the wrong time. But a great performance from him, and a good comeback from him, because there were quite a few doubts being raised after the T20 series. But I think he's answered his critics really well, and a solid performance today as well.
Harshit, what do you think?
No, I think England bowled pretty well. I think it was always England's match to lose right from the first start as well. To come back into the match to get those 4 wickets pretty quickly after an opening stand, I think England bowled decently. And at the death as well, they controlled the Indian finishers or the lower order pretty nicely to get 4 wickets for 8 runs at in the death and complete the innings well before the 50 overs quota. It was a pretty decent effort. So 330 again. India did not even cross their total from the last match. So again, it was full marks to England, especially on a flat pitch like this.
And on Dhawan's innings today, what do you think?
As I said, it was nice to see Dhawan take the charge and to play a bit more quick than he naturally does. So it was his strike rate was quite healthy. In fact, more than healthy. To see him taking on bowlers and allowing Rohit to settle a bit, it was good to see. So given that Shikhar Dhawan is now India's mainstay in only ODIs, given that they are moving past him in T20s and Tests, he's not in consideration anymore. So I'd want him to play attacking innings like these more often, just to make his spot more sure at the top, because he's been a fantastic batsman over the years. He's been one of the top 3 openers in world cricket, if I'm not
Yes.
wrong. Start wise, has 5,000 runs. Rohit and Dhawan are a great pair for India. So yeah, he should just try and add another dimension of attacking cricket to his game, and he'll be good.
Rahul.
Yeah, no, it is very nice to see Dhawan play after the last game. So I think if India set the tone in the power play, that allows Kohli to come in and play his anchor role with lesser pressure, and then allows the more hard hitting guys at the lower order to play with more freedom. So I think it's an approach that really benefits everyone as a whole. So and yeah, Dhawan played really well, and yeah, it would be nice to see him push on, but yeah, good stuff.
We'll take this question of Srinivas Sadanand, which leads us into our second segment. So, lads, thoughts on Kohli's struggles versus spin? A really poor dismissal, and yes, I think we have to discuss Virat Kohli today looked very, very out of sorts. Played a very uncharacteristic and ugly shot to get out to Moeen Ali. And what are your thoughts? He's really had his struggles against Adil Rashid, and now Moeen Ali also found a way past him. Ninth time he's also gotten him in international cricket. So what's this? I mean, what are your thoughts on Kohli's struggling against spinners like Adil Rashid, Adam Zampa previously? Now Moeen Ali is starting to get in under his skin. Shivang.
I think it's probably got something to do with his technique and the fact that so many leg spinners have got him out previously, that probably the confidence is also suffering a bit, and there's this added pressure that whenever a spinner comes on, whenever a leg spinner comes on, so he probably thinks that, okay, I have to get through this, I have to get through this. So there's so much build up happening that he eventually ends up losing his wicket. So I think that is playing at the back of his mind. Plus, I don't think Moeen Ali or Adil Rashid are great spinners, or they got him out of great deliveries. They were pretty average deliveries, which Kohli could have played any day. So I think it's just about confidence and his own self-belief that it's probably something going on in his head that he's not doing particularly well against spinners. So he needs to come out of that bubble, and I'm sure he'll be sorted. That it's not a big issue, but yeah, something that needs to be addressed. Personally, from Kohli.
Harshit.
I don't know. Kohli seems to me as if he's technically, all sound and all good. Last match he got out to a leg spinner, so the debate was: is he not playing leg spinners well? Is it only leg spinners that are getting him out? Today again he got out to Moeen Ali, pretty much how he got out at Chepauk against him. He has that reaction of, hey, what happened? How did that ball turn so much? He's a spinner, man. He has to turn the ball. Again, I would counter Shivang here, saying that they weren't really average or average balls. It was a pretty good ball that turned in quite sharply. Maybe Kohli didn't anticipate it, but again, if it happens twice or thrice in a series, you think, okay, maybe the bowler is good, or maybe I have forgotten a few things, so I'll get back at it. I'll go back to the nets. I'll hit the nets. I'll practice against this kind of spin, quite well, and then I'll get back. But with Kohli, it's been happening over the last 2 or 2.5 years that he's getting out to spin a lot over a particular series. He just picks a bowler and then gets out to him throughout that series. So yeah, maybe he needs to look at the technical deficiencies in his batting, maybe work on it with someone he trusts, or maybe a few coaches. I don't think Vikram Rathod is eligible enough to teach him that, but sure, I mean, there is some a good batsman like Kohli doesn't get out to spinners again and again just for fun. So there has to be some sort of something lacking, and he's a pretty masterful batsman. Yeah, he can cover that on his own. So yeah, maybe the IPL he'll work on spinners better. So yeah, just hoping.
I
Rahul.
just
Yeah,
one
yeah,
point that I
sure.
would like to add. Just one point. I to be honest, I don't think that I personally feel that Kohli has played more complicated spinners. Kohli has faced and hit good runs of more complicated balls. So I still don't think that they were pretty great balls. To be honest, I don't think they were unplayable balls. So I still feel that the confidence has to play a really big part here, because this is something that's been lacking, and I'm pretty sure the caliber and the talent that Kohli has, he can play those balls all day. You can throw at him and he'll just defend, he'll get fours, he'll get sixes. So I don't think that's a worry for him. It's just something that needs to be addressed, and something that should be addressed now before the World Cup.
Rahul.
Yeah, I mean, both of them have made good points. I think Srinivas, he has put another comment about
Yes, he's said that you could tell Kohli was overcompensating and trying to be overly aggressive, and I could see it coming from a
yeah.
mile. The
Yeah.
delivery was quality, the shot wasn't. So
So
Rahul,
yeah,
what do you take?
maybe it's a case of India's different approach. And Kohli, he's still trying to be aggressive, and maybe he didn't really have to, and could have could have played a bit more safe. So maybe it's just that his approach, he got his approach wrong, trying to force the shot. And yeah, I mean, I don't think um the delivery is good, but he made it look like, his reaction afterwards made it look like, ball of the century, when I don't
Yeah,
think.
exactly. Yes.
And that's usually his standard reaction to when he gets bowled by spinners. He just stands there rooted and he's like, how can this happen to me? So maybe he needs, I don't know what he needs to do, and he's obviously knows his game, but it's a pattern that has been seen for the past few years, getting out to spinners. So he does need to find a fix. Otherwise, teams are just going to exploit that.
True.
No,
Yeah.
I'd like to say I don't think Kohli was overcompensating by being overly aggressive. I think at number three, when you come to the crease one down with the team 100 odd runs in 14 overs, you just try to maintain that run rate and not take it too down, not try to settle too much. So you try to hit boundaries as and when you can. You don't let the team down, especially not the run rate, especially not even more so in a situation when you've lost the last match scoring 330 against an England side. So you will just try to keep the tempo up as and when. So you can't
Yes.
blame him for attacking Moeen Ali, especially because he's an off spinner and right-handers Boone is playing against off spinners. And also he was under fire in the last match. Both Kohli and Rahul for not playing Moeen Ali that well, being
Yes.
overcautious. So I don't think he was overcompensating. He was trying to be a bit more proactive, bit more aggressive against his natural enemy. But
Hmm.
yeah, that ball, because it wasn't really a spinning track, right? It did get flat towards the end. If it was a spinning track, then maybe
Yes.
sure you could say that Moeen Ali bowled a really great delivery. But that was just a one-off delivery. No other batsman got out to spin that much. Liam Livingston was the other spinner who got a wicket. It was off a full toss. Adil Rashid, well, he got two wickets, but then he also went for 8.5 runs and over. So
Yes.
yeah, it wasn't really a great match for spinners, or not really a spinning track as well. So you can't really blame Kohli for going after Moeen, but that ball just turned in a lot. Even I don't think even Moeen was expecting the ball to turn that much.
Now we'll go. The big partnership for India in this innings was the partnership in the middle between Rishabh Pant and Hardik Pandya, and Rishabh Pant obviously continuing his excellent form from the tour of Australia. He's definitely looked in touch today. Hardik Pandya got himself a few runs today, and both looked very aggressive today. What are your thoughts on that partnership that kind of set up India for a very good total towards the end? Shivang.
I think that partnership was really needed because at one point India was 157 for 4. So after a fantastic start, the wheels were falling off a bit. So that partnership was really needed, and this is something that I think I've talked about in the previous video as well. That I love how mature Hardik Pandya has become. So
Yes.
it wasn't just aggression, it wasn't just unnecessary risk, unnecessary shots. It was the way he was just playing along with Rishabh Pant as well, and I think it was fab. It was really mature. So and Rishabh Pant has been continuing his hot form. I think he's in brilliant touch right now. I wasn't sure earlier if he should be a part of the 11 or not. If Surya Kumar Yadav should play or he should play replacing Shreyas Iyer. But he's proving his critics wrong, and he's just carrying on with the momentum. So I think a really good partnership, much needed partnership, and great maturity shown by both the batsmen, especially Hardik Pandya.
Great point there. Harshit, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it was a great partnership. My only complaint is that none of them stuck till the end. If they had, then we wouldn't have had a nail biter like we did. But that'll only come with experience. But I expected Hardik Pandya to stay around till the maybe 40-45th over to guide the tail end, because he played a few really mature 90-gun knocks in Australia. So I was hoping for him to stay around. Pant, well, that was just a brilliant catch from Butler, wasn't it? Right? I mean, one-handed
Yes.
reflex catch. That was quite unlucky. But the partnership was great. Yeah. I for one thought that when Rahul got out, they'll just send Kunal Pandya to steady the ship maybe and try and preserve Hardik Pandya for the last 10 overs. But it was really good to see a left-right combo out there and two people who aren't afraid to take risks. At 157 for 4, probably a majority of batsmen would have just tried to settle in and just steady the ship a bit and try and get to the 35th, 40th over. But scoring at 7 runs per over every over in that partnership, it was a pretty decent effort from two relatively inexperienced guys who are pretty young as well. Again, had one of them stayed, probably 370 even could have been achieved or more, definitely. But yeah, definitely the match winning partnership, because 157 for 4, you don't expect the side to double it even, let alone cross 330. But yeah, great from two lads.
I think this is why perhaps India needs someone in the middle order to calm things down a bit, because Rishabh Pant and Hardik Pandya will go all guns blazing. I mean, that is their natural way of playing. So I don't think that you should, like tell them or ask them to change how they play, change their traditional style of playing. But this is where someone like Shreyas Iyer was working really fine, because he sort of calmed things down a bit in the middle. So I think that is why I was in favor of Surya Kumar Yadav being there in the 11. But again, I think, like Harshit said, great performance from the two of them.
Rahul, what are your thoughts on the
I
Hardik
don't
game? Yeah.
no
Harshit.
just to count just to answer Shivang, just to take that further. I really don't see Shreyas Iyer in this side now that Pant and Pandya are a good solid 5 and 6. Because once you have Jadeja coming back in the side, that will be a 5, 6, 7 of Pant, Pandya, and Jadeja. So you definitely won't
Yeah.
change that because you need finishers as well as attacking batsmen in the middle. Your 1, 2, 3, 4 in Rohit, Dhawan, KL, and Kohli are pretty much anchors. Their strike rates aren't more than 100. KL maybe, who can attack as well, given that his short stint at number 5 in that middle overs during the Australia series has allowed him to develop an attacking mindset. But now that he'll come to bat at number 4, as we saw in the last 2 matches, he's taking a more cautious approach. Right, in both the games, his strike rate wasn't that good until he stayed till the end. So I for one don't see Sky or even Iyer making the cut once Jadeja comes back. I think the top 7 is settled for me. Maybe if
Just
yeah, yeah.
go ahead, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that this is the top 7 for me once Jadeja comes back because 4 anchors and then 3 Pant Pandya Jadeja.
Just one
Rahul, what
question
your
to that.
yeah,
Just
sure.
one question to add to that. Okay, like we're in the World Cup, we're playing the semi-final, and India lose a couple of, in fact, 3 wickets early on. India 70 for 3, India 75 for 3. So, do you think that we can trust Pant, Jadeja, and Pandya enough to carry on and chase a big total, or you still don't think that Shreyas Iyer or Surya Kumar Yadav, someone of that mindset, someone will be needed to calm things down?
In this situation, I'll trust Pant more than Hardik Pandya. I think Pant more has that middle
Yeah,
order kind of mindset. He definitely does that. In fact, as you mentioned, the World Cup semi-final, India was 5 for 3, and then
yeah.
soon 30 for 4 or something when Dinesh Karthik got out. So they did send Pant ahead of Pandya, right? And he did steady the ship. Those 30 odd runs for a youngster in a World Cup semi-final is pretty good. And the World Cup is still
But then,
three
but then
years.
again, the
It's
way
still two
the
and a
way
half
the,
years,
the way
right?
he
So
got out at that World Cup as well. So, like,
So
don't you
that's
think
his
that
relative
shows a bit of?
inexperience. That's inexperience. He has come a long way after that. The test. The if he can do it in the test format, he can definitely replicate it in the ODIs as well. Those victories, that victory in Gaba, it was pretty, definitive of the fact that Pant has come a long way in that 1 year since the lockdown. So
Absolutely,
it's
absolutely. I 100% agree with you. But I think it's just like, every player has a way of playing. They have a set style of playing. So I think to take away their natural game from them isn't quite ideal. And I would personally still have Surya Kumar Yadav or Shreyas Iyer at number 4, just to calm things down a bit if that early
so
collapse happens.
That's
who
where
will you leave out?
that's where
Okay, Rahul.
Puneet
KL
Shukla
Rahul. KL Rahul
said.
there, अच्छा बात है. And I'd
Yeah,
like to
KL
counter
Rahul,
that
KL Rahul
Pant
doesn't
point
make
by
the cut
saying
for
that
me.
if you look at it, he played relatively slower than he did in the last match. In the last match, he
Yeah.
had a bit more freedom to play his shots. Courtesy Rahul was the anchor at the other end. This time he came in at the 20th over, I guess. So he knew that he had to stay until the end. So he played a bit slower. His 50 came 12 balls slower than the last match, and his strike rate
I
at
am
the end of the innings was also lesser than the last match. So he did play that anchor role in addition to
absolutely,
striking
absolutely.
whenever a
I
bad
am
ball came up.
I am a big Rishabh Pant fan, and I think he should definitely be there. But if I see, and I think that's a must, if I see Shreyas Iyer or Surya Kumar Yadav, that's definitely in place of KL Rahul, despite of
I think
his
both of
great
you guys.
performance.
I think both you guys have a point. I think we'll have to take. We must take Rahul's point on the Pant Pandya partnership today. I think he's been waiting for quite a while. Rahul.
Yeah, I mean, we know it's just good to see. India really needed them to kick on. They obviously came in earlier than uh, desired because coming in the 25th over is quite early for them. But yeah, they didn't slow down. They kept pushing for runs. Pant played his natural game, and they took on the spinners. They took on Rashid, which was quite important. And yeah, unfortunately, they got out earlier. If they stayed till even the 45th over, India would have been looking at a really high total and would have been great entertainment. And it's a bit of anticlimactic that they got out in the mid 30 overs. But yeah, to add on to what we're discussing earlier, I think if we're fitting Iyer or Suryakumar in, it's only in place of KL Rahul, because you need Hardik and Jadeja as the all-rounders and the overs they can offer. So if anything, they should be in place of Rahul, and I think it's unfair to drop KL Rahul on his in ODIs because he has been scoring. Yeah.
KL Rahul has 850 plus scores in the last 14 matches. Three of them are hundreds.
So
And given that almost all that scores came in at number five, a majority of those at number five, and just the 100 last match came in at number four. So
Yes,
KL
I think that
Rahul,
there's a
it's
point.
pretty tough to drop him at the moment. He is undroppable.
And
In
plus, he's
fact,
got
the only
and
loser
yeah.
from this series, apart from yeah, in fact, the only loser from this series, apart from England, is the fact that Shreyas Iyer's unfortunate injury, because
Yes.
Rishabh Pant,
Yeah,
what he's done in the
exactly.
last two matches is, I think he's one of the support from Kohli and Ravi Shastri and the management as well. I was
Also,
still
Rahul has a yeah,
dumbfounded when
sure.
they dropped him in the first match. Yeah, yeah. I'm just saying that Pant is now a
Shreyas
sure
Iyer,
shot
Yes.
starter in all three formats.
Shreyas Iyer gets fit. I think he comes in for me at number four.
I think this is
It'll be nice to see who they drop out. It'll be nice to see
Yeah,
who they
yeah,
drop
yeah,
out.
for sure, for sure.
definitely. I think it'll be a very interesting. The performance of Rishabh Pant have made this entire conversation about the middle order very interesting, and we'll go to the end over slump that we had, and that's where the point from Anant Kumar Rajamani comes in. That when India were losing wickets quickly towards the end of the first innings, the non-striking batsmen were hardly speaking with each other to ensure that they did not throw their wickets away. So there was a lack of communication between batsmen and a general end overs slump that India had. What are your thoughts about this? Because it's a very valid point that Anant has raised up in his question. Shivang, we'll take you first.
This is something that I didn't observe. This is something that I am reading for the first time. And if that happened, then yes, it should have there should have been some sort of communication just to give the new batsman an idea about the pitch or what's happening and how to go about it, how to approach the remaining overs. But I think it's very important for the two batsmen, especially for the new one coming in. It's very important for the non-striker or the batsman that's already there to just calm him down and just talk to him about it, talk to him about things going on in the match in the pitch. So if that didn't happen, then that is something that should be happening from the next match onwards. And yeah, I think communication is absolutely required at all stages of the match. Doesn't matter if you're getting out or the new batsman is coming in.
Harshit, we'll take you
I
this on
think it
this.
was it was quite disappointing, to be honest, to lose four wickets in the space of 2 overs for just 8 runs. Especially when you're looking to try and get as many against a side that no score is safe against a side like England. It was pretty disappointing to see our lower order, and this is not just a first time instance, right? Our lower order, in fact, I don't think we should even call it a lower order batsman anymore. I think the tail enders fit perfectly. Lower order is for other teams. Every other team bats till 9 and 10. Only India, the batting finishes at 7 and 8 maximum. And I don't think anyone in the lower order is even told to focus on your batting anymore. They're just sitting ducks at the moment. Prasidh Krishna gets out bowled in test matches as well in ODIs or in T20s. If they're just sitting ducks. The only reason we won by 7 runs and not 50, 70, or even 100 is the fact that even Adil Rashid and Mark Wood can stay in there with the set batsman till the end and try and take the game as close as possible. There's no one in the Indian setup who can do that. And Ananta sir's point that the batsmen weren't communicating, I don't think they even knew what to do in that moment. Everyone just trying to hit the ball in the air and then just take singles. And the fact that we got out 10 balls before our quota of 50 overs. So even if they had just knocked it around, that's 10 easy runs. That would have been 340 instead of 330. So we could have won easily rather than this nail biter that we had at the end. So I think it's a problem that needs to be addressed for a long time, even before the COVID lockdown, right from 2019 series. Our lower
Yes.
order doesn't bat at all. It needs to be told. Earlier we had Bhuvneshwar and Mohammad Shami even who had 50s in that England tour in 2014. But even Mohammad Shami has now become a slogger. Guy just hits first ball right to cow corner mid wicket and gets out caught. So I don't know what the batting coach is doing. The batting coach's job is not to coach Virat Kohli or Cheteshwar Pujara, Rahane or Rohit Sharma, right? He's there just for the middle order to try and get a settled number 4 and 5, and to help the lower order batsmen just stay in there, not give your wickets cheaply. At least make the opposition side earn your wicket, not just be sitting ducks, yeah, or just lob the ball in the air for a point fielder to catch it. It's pretty disappointing anyway.
Rahul.
Yeah, and it's criminal to not play out 50 overs in ODIs,
True.
especially with the start India had and with the recovery that Pant and Pandya made. Um, I mean, looking at the lower order, the Prasid doesn't look like he can score runs, uh, and in Natarajan, we all know Natarajan's story with the bat in the Test series. There was the whole joke about how he didn't get his kit bag in for the IPL. He just doesn't bat. He has no interest in batting. So when you're playing for India, you don't have to have a major interest in batting, but like when you said, batting coach has to at least ensure that the tailenders can at least hang around there. I mean, Bhuvneshwar is a capable lower order batsman. He doesn't have a lot of big scores, but he can hang around. I think one of the problems was that Kunal really struggled, and that's one of the things I
Yes.
fear of Kunal is that when he has his timing, then yeah, he can get runs, but when he struggles, he just really struggles, and this that is quite a painful innings to watch. And
True.
India did leave some runs out there by not finishing the 50 overs, but equally the extra balls Kunal took, if he was fluent, it could have made a big difference. But have to give
Uh,
credit to Shardul Thakur for
yes. Yes.
the cameo.
Absolutely.
Of course,
Yes.
I'm now a converted Shardul Thakur fan for his batting and his. So
Count me in as well.
Just one thing, just one thing.
There can't be a
yeah,
Shardul Thakur hater anywhere, yeah. I was having a haircut, at around 8 or 8:30 when he got Malan and Liam Livingstone out, and everyone in that shop was a Shardul Thakur fan. Yeah, they all just were. This is a 5'5" guy. He comes in, he knocks the batsman out, and he just he has that passion, he has that aggression. Yeah, it was missing. He has that aggression almost like Kohli. Yeah, everyone is a Shardul Thakur fan.
True, absolutely true. I think he's earned himself quite a few fans in this series. We're going. We'll go to the start that England had. It was a very iffy start for them. They lost both their openers very early, all thanks to Bhuvneshwar Kumar being in some scintillating form with the ball. And towards the end, he was really good with the ball as well. I mean, he cut. I mean, in a game where England Wayne trademark bonkers with the bat. He ended up with 3 for 42 in his 10 overs with a maiden over included in it. What do you guys think, Shivang, about Bhuvneshwar Kumar and his return to ODI cricket in this manner?
Brilliant performance. Not just in this match, but we've seen that in the previous matches as well. When Bhuvneshwar Kumar is there, you feel secure, you feel comfortable, and you think that there is someone you can bank upon. And I think that is exactly what he's there for, especially when the likes of an experienced bowler like Bumrah is out. I think it's upon Bhuvneshwar Kumar to take the onus and take charge of this bowling lineup. So I think he's a very underrated player, very underrated bowler, and he's a legend of sorts. So should be given that kind of respect. And now, I don't think that he has ever failed to rise up to the expectations. So brilliant performance from him, and I think this is something that he's been doing for a while now, just like giving excellent performances again and again.
Harshit.
I completely agree with Shivang, yeah, every time Bhuvneshwar Kumar takes a wicket in the power play, be it T20s or ODIs, I just flash back to the 2012 debut series against Pakistan, his first ball to Mohammad Hafiz, how he just swung it back in and knocked the off stump out. It's Bhuvneshwar Kumar is a swing prodigy, yeah, and it's imperative for Indian cricket to get as much from him as they can. They need to manage his injuries and all his fitness and all to go for less than 6 runs per over. In fact, less than 5 runs. He took 3 for 42 in 10 overs
Yes,
in a run chase of 6.6. That's amazing. Yeah. As a leader of the attack, it's he just sets the bar for everyone else, and not just the ODI series. He was excellent in the T20 series as well. He was regularly bowling below par spells. When Bhuvneshwar Kumar swings the ball and bowls it on a good length, India sleeps well. I think India sleeps definitely well. He's a great bowler to have, be it at the front, be it at the death, or in the middle overs whenever India needs a wicket. So yeah, I'm a massive Bhuvneshwar Kumar supporter. So it's heartwarming for him to come back into form before the IPL. He'll definitely be an asset in the T20 World Cup and in the England tour as well.
true. Rahul.
Yeah, and I'm really happy to see him come back and deliver from game one. And yeah, I know it's unfortunate. His injury problems have been unfortunate both for him and also for Indian cricket. But now it's he just slotted seamlessly back into the setup. He has this ability to go for have a very good economy even in like high scoring games. It's either T20s or ODIs, and I think he really provided Kohli today with that control. He always went back to him sneaking in one over here, one over there, and it was um he was quite economical, breaking that flow. So as in this series, he was obviously the only bowler India could really rely upon to take both wickets and be economical. The rest of the
Yes,
bowlers are either one or the other, and yeah, he'll be a big part. I only hope he stays fit for especially for the rest of the year, but also for the rest of his career.
absolutely. I think Surya Sesha's comment just sums it all. When Bhuvneshwar bowls well, India sleeps well. Legit posted the same before post the last T20 international. Very, very important comment. And we've got to discuss Shardul Thakur today because I mean, before he bowled his 10th over, where he got carted around for 18, he bowled the spell that probably turned the game on its head. 4 overs. He had 4 overs for 49. 9 overs for 49 before that spell, and looked very much in control. He was got a useful 30 with the bat as well. What is it with Shardul Thakur that's starting to make him such an undroppable commodity in the Indian limited overs setup now? Shivang.
I think his passion, his aggression, the fact that he wants to play, the fact that he wants to bowl the 10 overs, the fact that he wants to get the wickets. I think that is something that's absolutely commendable. That guy wants to give his all, and I think Mahendra Singh Dhoni has like trained him really well, and that is something that's got a lot to do with the way he's performing with the ball. So he brings out that kind of a hunger in the player, and that performance clearly reflects. So brilliant performance yet again, and he is someone who will go for runs, but he will get you wickets as well. So great wicket taking option, and I think he had another fantastic day today.
Shiva,
But
Harshit.
I think
Yeah,
a
sorry.
lot of credit needs to be given to Dhoni and Chennai Super King staff for the grooming, for the kind of grooming they did to Shardul Thakur. I think he's been absolutely fabulous since the IPL. So yeah, all the credits to him.
I think that's also
Yeah,
CSK is also the reason why Sam Curran was able to hit Thakur for 18 runs, take the match that. So we should thank
Pluses and
CSK for that
minuses,
as well.
Pluses and minuses. I think.
No, definitely, I agree with Shivang. I think before this Australian tour, Shardul Thakur was a regular in the Indian squad, right? For every be it
Yeah.
tests, matches, ODIs or T20s, he was selected for squads as a backup pacer in case anyone got injured, and he used to warm the bench. The fact that even in his test debut, he just bowled 1 over and got off the field injured and never bowled again until he had to wait till Gabba. I think that hunger in Shardul Thakur is the fact that now he just wants to play every match and give it his best. he knows that he won't play every match from in the future once the regulars are back. So he thinks that he should not be dropped based on his poor performance. He wants to give it all. If he does get dropped, it's purely because of luck or because the other guy has done so well in the past. So I can understand why Shardul Thakur gives it to all his every match. Kohli said at the end of the last match that Shardul Thakur even if no one else on the field thinks that, Shardul Thakur thinks that he can win the match for India, at any stage. So it's good to have that kind of player. Plus, not just his bowling, his batting has improved a lot. He
Yes.
was impact. His hitting abilities are one of the main reasons why they pick him in the squad ahead of someone like a Mohammad Siraj or Natarajan. In fact, in the last two ODIs, so it's good to see this Shardul Thakur run. I just hope it lasts longer because the England tour is coming. So I don't know if he won't definitely get picked for the test matches, but he's a great prospect in white ball. Yeah, his knuckle balls are gems. I My only complaint with him is that at the death, especially, he should try and bowl a lot more Yorkers, or if he bowls knuckle balls,
True.
bowl it on good length. Those short ball knuckle balls aren't doing anyone good. Yeah, they're just getting hit. So
True.
yeah, he'll get it with experience definitely, but yeah, definitely a fan favorite across the country right now. Right? This is the winter of Shardul
Yes.
Thakur, winter of Shardul Thakur and Rishabh Pant.
True, absolutely. I think Rahul will come to you as well, and I think we'll this comment from Suraj Sesha again. Shardul is 20% skill and 80% spirit. His passion is contagious. The kind of player whom anybody would love to have in their team. What are your thoughts on Shardul Thakur's performance today, Rahul?
Yeah, no, I agree with that, and there's probably a reason why Kohli likes him. I think they both are quite similar in terms of that. The passion and the way they celebrate wickets is just screaming all over the place. But yeah, I don't know how to explain from bowling point of view. I mean, he got Livingston with the full toss. I mean, these things are just he just has that. He's just clutch and um, I don't know how he does it, but I think before the Australia tour, he never really impressed for India. I mean, I had a look at his stats, and in the New Zealand tour in 2020, in ODIs, 1 for 80 in 9 overs, 1 for 87 in 9.1 overs. He was really not economical, wasn't taking wickets. But in Australia, he played one ODI, took 351, and this series he has
Yes.
7 wickets. And yeah, he's really progressed a lot. I think just taken confidence from the T20s, the test that he played has probably helped his confidence as well. And
True.
yeah, it's tough to explain these sort of players. It's sort of like a Liam Plunkett, not
Yes.
particularly world class, but they just have that knack. I mean, Plunkett was quite good in the World Cup. It was just
Yes, yes, that
six
is
sixes.
exactly what I
Yeah.
was thinking before you spoke this. I mean, most accurate comparison to Shardul Thakur is Liam Plunkett because both of them very similar sort of bowlers. I mean, and very similar sort of roles in in their respective teams that they had. And Plunkett was also such a clutch player for England in the build up to the 2019 World Cup win. So I think, yeah, I mean, Shardul Thakur, long may the cult of Thakur reign.
It
Long
was
may it reign.
disappointing. Now that you've mentioned Plunkett, it was disappointing how England got rid of him post the 19 World Cup. They just
Yes,
completely left him out of the squad. It
I
was a
think,
real match winner, yeah,
yes.
with the bat
I
and
mean,
with the ball.
he 2 for 40 in that final. He got the wicket of Kane Williamson in that final as well, which was so critical at that time. So yes, I mean, a great player he was, and we'll come to the innings of the match. I think which was played by Sam Curran. 95 95 he got out, 95 not out of 83, and that's where the comment from Anant Kumar Rajmani again. As expected, Sam Curran man of the match performance almost took the game away from the hosts. Good choice for man of the match. 1 for 43 in 5 overs, 95 not out of 83. What's your comment on Sam Curran's performance today? Because I think once again that old scourge of India has returned this time in colored clothing. Shivang.
Karan's focus today was as good as Arjun, if that is how you would like to put it out. So
As
I so I feel that again, this performance of his, this innings of his, had Chennai Super Kings written all over it. The way,
yes,
there were wickets flying over at the other end, but he kept his calm and took it deep. Unfortunately for him, that he couldn't convert it into a win. But the playing style, and just like Mahendra Singh Dhoni used to do back in the day. So it was a great performance from him, and under pressure, and he looked so calm, he looked so positive. Even when he wasn't taking the singles, he was just trying to. He had so much faith in himself that he will get the boundaries, he will get the sixes, and he almost pulled it off. I mean, what a win this could have been for England and for him. So it was a fabulous performance, and a certain someone's riding Sam Faulkner.
yeah, Surya
Of
Sesha once
course.
again. Good spot there, Surya once again.
Yeah,
Harshit, what's
so
your
I
yeah?
absolutely,
Continue.
he's a starter for me, like no doubt about that.
Harshit,
Yeah, I'm just
what's your
I'm
thoughts
just
on?
sad. I'm just sad that it was a double downer. England didn't win and Sam Curran didn't get 100. I think at least one of those things should have happened. Both would have been really nice. But yeah, Sam Curran is a genuine batting all rounder. I think the reason they play him every match, irrespective of his bowling performances, is because England want at least batting till number 9, number 10. So Sam Curran plays a major role in that. Also, Sam Curran and India have a really odd relationship. We saw that in
True.
2018 when he had a debut. He's a perennial nemesis from here on. So Sam Faulkner would have been, if he had won the match, then we'd have to find an Ishant Sharma as well for that uh, relative proportion. But yeah,
I
great
think
innings there.
that might have become Shardul Thakur then.
His
I think.
I think his only fault in today's innings was that he didn't trust Wood a bit too much.
Hmm.
He farmed the strike, even on really easy singles. I think Wood looked
True.
good. The fact that Wood played 20 balls should have been hints enough that he can, take the single and give it back to Karan. But the English just lost by 7 runs. So had he not refused those singles or not converted them into doubles or something like that, had
Hmm.
not refused singles, England could have won it. This would have been a very close match, more close than it was actually. So I think that took England and his hopes down. But in that fantastic innings, yeah, he knew when to hit and which bowler to attack. Respected Bhuvi and Pandya on occasions, and went after Thakur and Natarajan whenever he got the chance. So great innings.
Also, I remember this one instance where I feel he got really unlucky and England got really unlucky, where there was this DRS review, and the
Yes.
No,
umpire
no,
gave it
that
out. The
that
umpire
happened
gave
with
it
Pant in
out
the
without
last match,
calling.
right? That happened in
Yeah,
the
but
last match with Pant as well.
again, I'm just doubting the entire concept of it. I mean, if
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
but
out, then
it
the
was
run
it was
should count.
it
If you're
was
not
Mark
counting
Wood
the
on
run,
this occasion.
then you should at least consider, the crossing of the crease. And Sam Curran would have been on strike, and you could have added one more run to the total. And sometimes these things, they make a lot of difference. So
Yeah,
this is
they do,
something
they
that the
do.
ICC needs to address.
Yeah, given that it's happened with two of the biggest
Yeah,
stakeholders in cricket at the moment, it'll definitely be a topic of discussion at the next meeting
also should be,
that
should
happens at
be.
ICC. But it was Mark Wood on this occasion and Rishabh Pant in the last match. So
Yes.
twice that such a strange rule has come into question. So yeah, it definitely will be taken up, I guess.
Rahul, what's your take on Sam Curran's performance today?
Yeah, this wow, this is his he only had one previous 50 over 50 in his career, and I think he really took his opportunity. I mean, he's obviously a handy bat, and we have seen that in the test matches when he has had more time to bat, and he was, India's nemesis in 2018. But this game he had more time, and I think he just really took the responsibility. Um, I think seems to have learned from MS Dhoni in refusing singles. That is one of the first things I noticed,
True.
and consistently, through his innings. Um, and yeah, he was really calculative. He played out Bhuvneshwar, so he knew obviously knows which bowlers to targeted the
Yes.
more inexperienced bowlers. I think that just shows quite level of maturity. And the Faulkner comparisons are quite apt. And I remember Faulkner hit 100 against India
India.
when Rohit Sharma had 200. And
Yes.
obviously that wasn't, it didn't come as close, but he was also threatening to win the game possibly at that game. And yeah, I
Yes.
do wish Karan got his 100, because then India would have lost one by one run, and then people would have been discussing the LBW. Uh,
That LBW, that DRS that took away the run.
yeah,
True. Absolutely. We've gotten and then we move on to the one of the most abysmal displays of fielding we've seen from India after quite a while. And that's where the question from Surya Sesha again comes in. Are the fitness criteria for this team based on the wrong parameters, considering the number of injuries and the fielding lapses? Because we had two drops from Shardul Thakur, from Hardik Pandya. One of them almost became costly because that was a Sam Curran. Two drops in the same over of consecutive deliveries in the 49th over by Shardul Thakur and Tina Trajan. Three direct hits, relatively simple direct hits missed. Very iffy display of fielding. What's your take on the fielding displays of the Indian team today, and especially considering we rejected a certain Jaunty Rhodes as the fielding coach of India in after the 2019 coach World Cup. So Shivang, what's your take on this question and the overall fielding display that India put up today?
Not a good fielding effort, not at all. I mean, when you miss so many catches towards the crucial end of the innings, then it's almost like you don't want to win the match. I mean, that was like, yeah, some of them were really tough, especially Sam Curran, the shot that he played towards the end. I think that wasn't an easy catch to take. But at this level, if you are, having so many complicated tests for fitness and everything, then you do expect your fielders to grab onto those catches. So it was disappointing, and it was like it's something. And Hardik Pandya too dropped the catch. I mean, he's the kind of a guy who's supposed to be one of the fittest around. So if this is a concern, then it should be raised. And like with the fielding coach and everyone. So I think rather than focusing on too many tests and too many fitness as such, I think fielding and other such things need to be put into consideration as well, because that's very important. That is the difference. That is the reason why England came so close to the total. So very important to look into that.
Harshit.
Hello.
Yeah, Harshit, please continue.
Hello, I didn't hear there was a net connection. What is the
Okay, so
question?
we're discussing the poor fielding display of India and the question from Surya Sesha
Oh,
that the fitness criteria about the
no,
fitness
absolutely.
criteria being an issue.
I think it's pretty hypocritical, because for a side that posts fielding standards and wants players to run certain amount of kilometers in certain minutes, otherwise you don't make the cut, no matter how skillful you are with your craft, be it a batsman or a bowler. Given that Varun Chakravarti and Rahul Tewatia were both dismissed from the squad because they failed fitness tests, whereas people like Pandya are allowed to play despite them dropping catches. Yeah, I don't think it happened in the Australian tour as well, but then it was dismissed because they had 6 months of lockdown. They had no practice, so it was dismissed as a fact that these are tired bodies. These are just coming into play. They haven't had practice. It'll get better with time. But to drop three catches in a decider match, what if this had been the final? Yeah, it's really disappointing. Ash Sridhar, if he continues, there should be head should roll. Yeah, Ash Sridhar's head should roll. This no one can completely back away. The lad, I don't even see before the match them practicing fielding or catching or trying to run out. They just bat and bat or play a bit of football. Other teams they do fielding drills, but India has completely stopped doing fielding drills. For the next match again after the IPL, no one will remember. Virat Kohli has dropped the most number of catches in international cricket in the last 1 year.
Yes, 18 catches
Astonishing
dropped by
why
him.
they drop lollies and then they take plug those blinders, one-handed blinders. Both Pandya and Kohli plug blinders,
Yes,
close up, but then they drop lollies from the sky. That's
Reminds you of
disappointing,
Bhuvneshwar, I
yeah,
think.
for a side that that's
accurate one.
disappointing. Yeah, absolutely.
Rahul, what's your take on this? Because Surya has also followed up with this with the fact that, with all due respect, it's tough to expect the likes of Pujara and Ashwin to clear those fielding benchmarks. But can we drop them on the basis of that? It's unthinkable. So your comment on the overall fielding display and the fact that
Yeah,
they're
that
about the
is
field.
these
Yeah, I mean, I do think the
Pujara
benchmark.
and Ashwin are underoperable from the test side, right? So
I mean, I do
Pujara and
think.
Ashwin are underoperable from the test side, So
I mean, yeah, the benchmarks for tests
sorry, yeah,
and
sorry. Yeah.
no, it's fine. I mean, the benchmarks for tests and limited overs is probably different, and you can make more allowances in tests because you can just have a weaker fielder in the slips. I mean,
True.
yeah, like a guy whose fitness is not as high, um, I mean, Pujara maybe not most agile, or Ashwin. I mean, you can just have them in the slips, have them in a position where the ball is not going to go often. So, whereas in limited overs, it's just more dynamic and ball can go anywhere. So you can't really hide. You can't really have slips, so you can't really hide players. So that's the difference. But I don't know what to. I mean, Kohli's fielding. Yeah, he just drops, and maybe the blinders that he takes is just down to reaction. The catch he took, that just reaction time, and the ball sticks in his hand. The two Pandya drop catches are just it's usually reliable, so I don't know what to make of that. Shardul can't drop that in the penultimate over. That's just ridiculous. And then to make it worse, Natarajan, he can't bat, and he obviously can bowl, but if he's not offering value as a fielder, then
True.
you can't really play him. So that's something he has to work on because he obviously knows that his batting is not. You can't really trust him to with the bat. So overall, I don't know whether them being in a bubble for so many months, what effect that has. I mean, it's obviously not an excuse, but that's the one major difference compared to post-pandemic, and they've all been transferred from bubbles for since last August. So
True.
that shouldn't be an excuse, but maybe it's a reason. I
I
don't. Yeah,
what I
yeah,
was what I was adding to the point is that the fact that both Kuldeep and Kunal didn't really have that great a series as a spinning all rounder. The door might just have opened up a bit for Ravichandran Ashwin to make an ODI comeback. But again,
Yes.
these fitness standards, this fitness test is exactly what keeps him out. We don't both like Surya mentioned, Pujara and Ashwin aren't really capable of clearing those running tests to run certain number of kilometers, certain distance in a certain amount of time. But the fact that they don't have it for tests is exactly why those people are playing. So these fitness standards are a bit hypocritical at the end when your fielding isn't really that great.
Yeah, I think also the thing is that we've lost Shivang due to a power cut over here. So I think we'll have him rejoin the stream in a few minutes. But also the point is, I think the reason why Ashwin is also not there in the ODI side is also probably because the fact that ODI cricket in recent years has seen the finger spinners kind of become slightly more irrelevant to the discussion in now, because I think most teams have preferred using leg spinners. I mean, Pakistan for a point in time had Shadab Khan. They still use Shadab Khan, but now they at times use him with Imad Wasim or maybe Mohammad Nawaz. England have Adil Rashid, and they mostly use and Moeen Ali is there mostly as a part time
Yeah,
to
our
offer a bit of
captain got out
batting.
to a finger spinner today. Our captain
Yes,
got out to a
I
finger
mean,
spinner today. So
of
it's
course,
not out
that's
of
the point.
leg spinners. Leg spinners is a fashion trend, I guess, but there could be some merit to that, given that 9 out of the top 10 ranked bowlers in the T20 rankings are all leg spinners.
yeah.
Yes,
So
I mean, every
I
I
think
think
country.
it's
that's why.
definitely more of a trend in T20s, but in ODIs there is still some merit left for playing in off spinner or a finger spinner. I mean, Jadeja plays for India almost every match, and Jadeja and Ashwin could be the match winning combo, to and again for us, given that the World Cup is going to be played at home,
So if I
True.
the
mean if
ODI
India
World
Yeah.
Cup.
if India want control from the spinners, then they should go back to Ashwin and Jadeja. And
Hmm.
obviously, I think that there was a shift once Kohli took over captaincy, and then they started moving to Kuldeep and Chahal, who were really successful together for like those 2-3 years period. But now that both aren't really providing the control, and if you have Shardul, who um, who can go for runs,
Who's
but is
getting
also
wickets?
gets wickets, then yeah, you can go with Ashwin, who's obviously as a cricketing brain. There's really no one who can match the amount
True.
he thinks with the ball, and his
Yeah, yeah.
ability to outthink the opponent.
I think, and Surya's come up with the
No,
point. The
also
exception in this entire rule is, I think, New Zealand's Mitch Santner. I think who's
no,
the
New
lead
Zealand's Mitch
spinner for.
Santner. There is Ashton Agar who plays for Australia. There's
But he's
uh,
he's mostly there for the T20s as a control. I mean, in a Jadeja type role.
They're
I think.
also left. They're also left arm. So I don't
Yes.
really see many right arm offies anymore.
Yes, exactly. That's the point. Too many. There aren't too many right-arm off spinners who are the frontliners for their respective national ODI teams. I think Moin's at best a used as a part-timer. No, India's not used any specialist right-arm off spinner since 2017. Pakistan doesn't use an off spinner. Sri Lanka at times uses bunch of mystery spinners like Akhila Dhananjay and all these guys. At times, Dhananjay De Silva is a part timer, and other teams they don't really have too many off spinners. Australia rarely uses a Nathan Lyon in their ODI setup, so. Off spin in one day cricket, I think, has seen a little bit of a decline. So I think there's something. I think probably that's also a reason why Ravi Chandran Ashwin is not able to make it to the team. And this series, Washington Sundar didn't get a look in the playing 11 because I think the general trend has gone against the off spinners in ODI cricket. So I think
if
we'll
you
wrap up.
if you look at it, this was the first game in 81 ODIs that neither Chahal nor Kuldeep played for India.
Kuldeep.
Ever
Exactly,
since their
that's a
famous
huge.
debut. So I
Yes,
think
I think
maybe
it's
this is the shift that India is moving past them in the ODI setup. Because I
uh,
don't see Kunal being in the squad for the next time India play an
I
ODI
think
series.
Krunal was only a stopgap. Krunal was only a stopgap till the time that for the time
Jadeja
that
comes back.
Jadeja was injured. Yes, I think
So
it was only a stop, and I think the fact is that I think it's about confidence. Once I think Kuldeep and Chahal get a few wickets, I think under their belt, I think that'll
no, I
help
think it's
them.
it's more than just confidence with Kuldeep at least. Chahal, to then
Kuldeep
he'll
has
definitely play. Kuldeep to won't even play the IPL. Chahal to he'll play the IPL and get back his confidence, and be in line
yes,
for the T20 World Cup and the ODI
yes,
series. But Kuldeep to he's what fourth choice spinner after Sunil Narayan, Chakravarti and Harbhajan at KKR.
yes.
So he's not gonna get a game. So Kuldeep, I think the doors are pretty much shut unless he has a really awesome gauze-smackling domestic season the next time Vijay Hazare Trophy is held. But yeah, if India does play two spinners, who's gonna be the second one with Jadeja once
I
things
think
return
I
back to
think they'll
normal?
get. I think they'll go back to using Chahal. I think they will somehow get Chahal back, or they might just throw in somebody like throw in a Mayank Markandeya or a Rahul Chahar in the deep end, and maybe have them try their hand over as the strike leg spinner in the one day side. Because I think
That's the problem I have. Yeah, one thing that India should definitely learn from this series is that their spinners should bat.
yes,
Yuzvendra Chahal
absolutely.
doesn't bat. Mayank Markandeya and Rahul Chahar don't bat. Yeah, the only name that pop in my mind are at the moment Kunal, Sundar, and then Ashwin.
And
So
in domestic cricket, I think the long favorite Jalaj
Jalaj
Saxena as
Saxena.
well.
Yeah, वो तो
Hmm.
पता नहीं. He's either cursed or he's pissed off some really VIP people at BCCI office. Something or the
It's
other. Yeah.
is
He's not even getting A.
his
He's not even
yeah.
getting A2s right.
One of the saddest stories. I think he's one of the saddest stories of our domestic structure. That despite his awesome record in first class and list A cricket, I mean, he barely gets a look in. I mean, one would hope that he gets a few games in the IPL for Punjab this time around. Surya Sesha again. Chahal will be back. I hope Shreyas Gopal has another standout here. He had a tough 2020, but is a criminally underrated player. I think another player thrown in the mix. I think he could Gopal probably. I mean, he's one of those who can swing their bat around pretty well. But there are quite a few, questions that have arisen for India in this one-day series, but few positives as well. I think Rishabh Pant maturing as an ODI batsman, Shardul Thakur emerging as a wicket-taking bowler, and Bhuvneshwar Kumar's return. I think it's the big factors, and even I think Krunal Pandya. I mean, whatever said and done, I think he's marked himself as a second in choice for Ravindra Jadeja in the spin bowling all-rounder list for India, as far as ODI is concerned. And I think we'll sign off with this fun quip from Anant Kumar Rajamani. Signing off with this comment. This is what I received through WhatsApp from a cricket fan using the now famous Swiss Suez Canal meme. Virat Kohli on the left of the ship is Virat. On the right is the ODI 100, and the middle of the ship is what you are the spinners. So I think, despite the fact we don't have the image here, but it's quite a funny visualization.
आएगा 71st 100 इंग्लैंड में आएगा इन लोगों के अगेंस्ट पक्का आएगा भाई.
I think he's saving it for the hopefully he's saving it for the big WTC final and the series that will happen in England. It's the
final में तो नहीं आएगा. न्यूजीलैंड के अगेंस्ट तो नहीं मारेगा वो तो. he'll get bowled out by Saudi or bowled, yeah, or even Jamieson for that matter.
We've forgotten there's also a Neil Wagner as well. So I mean, yes. But
Neil Wagner's main क्या कहते हैं weapon is short bowling, right? So Kohli plays short bowling pretty easily. His only weakness against spacers is when the ball just snips around the fourth, fifth stump. He just can't stop cover driving. Yeah. So that is why I said bold and Saudi.
First, he'll break his 100 curse with RCB. That's what I hope. RCB fans saying that, and then after that, then he'll open the floodgates. That's my prediction.
If he can score 100 at RCB,
he's opening.
Can he really score 100 at RCB? Well, the last time Kohli opened for the entire season, it was in 2016. He scored 400s.
Yeah.
And his fifth one also came opening against KKR. So this might be the return back to good luck and the good times coming back. I really hope if Kohli opening for RCB gives us the Kohli of old, then I'll also turn to a RCB fan. Yeah, I really hate that franchise, but if it gives us Kohli of the old, then sure, man, why not? Sometimes you want to shake hands with the other side.
Exactly. I think we've had quite an engaging discussion today, and once again, thank you to everyone who've pitched in with their questions. We've been able to have a very fruitful discussion on this game and the series overall. And we will return during the IPL season with our team previews, and we will have many more guests joining us to preview all the 8 sides before the IPL. So please stay tuned for that. Stay tuned to keep a track on Mtag's official YouTube channel. Like, share, and subscribe this video and every other video that's coming out of there. Follow them on their Instagram page and on Twitter. Follow Harshit and Rahul on Twitter, Facebook, and everywhere else. And follow yours truly as well. So we'll be
Avish, that cannot happen. I think Avish has mentioned that more than 100 he wants Kohli to stop making mistakes of captaincy. That can't happen, right? That is the only facet of Kohli that will stay consistent. Right? More than his batting, his captaincy mistakes are consistent. Right?
I think
his captaincy mistakes. Kohli has a real template. Right? In the beginning, when someone makes a mistake, he's really angry. But then he realizes that his mistakes are because of his own mistakes. Then he starts, dropping down. Then it becomes into sadness, right? Then it's really, and suddenly when a wicket falls, he'll just jump around the field as if he's just won the cup or something. Right? Real character.
And he'll start going Ben Stokes. He'll start going Ben Stokes.
Guy never loses a single opportunity to bring the whole nation's head down. Yeah, it's uncanny ability to just put a downer in everyone's face. As a captain, it's really. I think Kohli the batsman is a gift, but Kohli the captain is a bane, yeah. And a bane that's gonna last until he hangs his boots. And I know not even that is gonna happen. Itna fit है भाई 40 तक खेलेगा ये बंदा तो और 40 तक captaincy करेगा.
I think some good players sometimes never make good captains. I think Sachin Tendulkar probably is the best example for
Sachin
that.
had the
But
humility, Sachin is a god because he had the humility to accept that
that he
नहीं
was
होगा
not
यार,
good enough.
भगवान ने बैटिंग का गिफ्ट दिया, कैप्टनसी का नहीं दिया, वो कोई और कर लेगा.
I think
बट
Kohli's
कोहली
ego
को
is
तो
not
नहीं
ready.
यार,
Kohli's
कोहली को तो नहीं
ego is
एक्सेप्ट
not going
करना
to let
भाई.
him quit. Yeah,
ईगो
I
नहीं है
think
भाई, ओवर कॉन्फिडेंस बहुत है भाई. Like he knows कि हाँ, whatever he does is good for the team. And I agree भाई, in the tests he has done wonders. He's revolutionized the test team. Dhoni absolutely destroyed the test format for India. It was good that he gave up.
true.
Kohli has really made our test team more competitive. In fact, the best at the moment. But in white ball, he just seems dumbfounded on the field. Yeah, he can't inspire. He can't make inspiring changes. He can't stick to his plans for long. If Rohit hadn't played this series, we would have lost 3-0, right? Or
Point.
2-1 today as well. If he
I
doesn't have
think
anyone to support him around, he easily loses. Yeah.
I think it was evident in the final over that it was Rohit who was guiding Natarajan during the final over. He
नहीं
was the
नहीं.
one who.
If Natarajan needs Rohit or Kohli to tell him what to bowl when he has 12 runs in the bank, what is the use of the IPL, भाई?
True.
And नटराजन को तो आई डोंट थिंक हिंदी आती है, 6 लोग उसके आसपास उसको बोल रहे हैं भाई यॉर्कर डाल यॉर्कर डाल. मतलब व्हाट इज द
I
बेनिफिट,
think
मतलब व्हाट इज द यूज ऑफ द
I,
आईपीएल if the best death bowler that the IPL has produced last season doesn't know what to do in a situation like that.
point. I think that's
Clowns,
the point.
भाई.
Natarajan
The
and Natarajan and
the
Mustafizur
team is
Rahman
full
on
of
that point can shake hands.
the team is full of the team is full of 8 clowns plus Rohit, Pant and Thakur.
I think
Yeah.
that's
Ask
a
on
very
Bhuvi.
controversial. Yeah, I think
Okay,
yeah.
okay, seven
I think
clowns. Bhuvi is a
seven
god,
clowns.
bhai. Sorry. Bhuvi is a clown, bhai. Oh, Bhuvi is a god, I mean. 7 clowns and Bhuvi,
Uh,
Pant, Thakur and Rohit.
I think on that very controversial note, we will end our discussion today. Thank you to Harshit and Rahul, as well as Shivang, who was with us for quite a while, for having a very engaging discussion. Thank you to everybody who came up with their questions. We sorry if we've not been able to answer all of them, but we'll try and take them up for the next time. Follow Mtag on Instagram, Twitter, and check their website. Follow Harshit and Rahul on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram as well, and always be open for chats. Stay tuned to MTAG because we'll be bring the IPL team previews as well with some very engaging guests who will be breaking down the IPL 8 teams before the start of the season. So stay tuned for that, and thank you to everybody, and good night, everybody, and congratulations to all for the series win.